Hey, Lions Nation! We're back with another exclusive video bringing you all the latest news about our beloved Detroit Lions. Before we get started, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss anything about the team. Now let's get into the news. Nobody in Detroit expected the week to begin like this. It was supposed to be straightforward, focused, routine, the kind of calm before a storm that every franchise tries to manage before a high-stakes matchup. But calm was not what they got. Instead, the entire city woke up to a wildfire of tension after SHEDEUR Sanders opened his mouth and let loose a series of comments that instantly detonated across the league. The moment the words left him, everything changed. It was no longer just a game. It became personal. It became emotional. It became the kind of confrontation that ripples far beyond the field. The first whispers came from inside the practice bubble. People heard things. People repeated things. Nobody knew if it was real until video clips began circulating, spreading like a virus. There he was, SHEDEUR Sanders, speaking with confidence that bordered on arrogance, firing shots at Detroit, mocking, dismissing, sending message after message that the Lions were nothing to worry about. He wasn't vague. He wasn't subtle. He talked directly, loudly, and with a tone that felt like gasoline on a fire the Lions had been trying to control. The reaction inside the Lions facility was instant. A quiet shock at first, a disbelief that he would go that far. Then the disbelief turned into something else. Something heavier. Something that you could feel in the way players walked down the hallway, in the way coaches tightened their posture, in the way the entire building seemed to vibrate with anger that no one dared to say out loud. Detroit is a franchise built on respect, grit, and silence. They don't talk unless they have to. And when someone decides to drag their name through the mud, they don't forget. Sources close to the team describe the mood as one of controlled fury. Not chaos. Not panic. Fury. The type that sits behind the eyes like a storm waiting for the right moment to unleash. Players who normally joked before practice walked in with stone faces, helmets tucked under their arms like weapons they were ready to use. Coaches changed their tone. Film sessions got sharper. Hits in practice got harder. When a team feels disrespected, truly disrespected, it awakens something primal. And SHEDEUR Sanders didn't just disrespect, he provoked. He questioned the Lions' toughness. He mocked their intensity. He dismissed their preparation. And then, in the clip that went viral within minutes, he laughed while saying that Detroit talks like contenders but plays like pretenders. Those words hit the city like a punch to the chest. Commentators reacted instantly. Fans erupted. And inside the Lions' locker room, those words were not forgotten for even a second. Some players reportedly stood up during meetings, asking the staff to replay the video. Not once, several times. They wanted to hear every word. They wanted to memorize the tone. They wanted to carry that sound with them into Sunday. Detroit players don't usually ask for things like that. But this week, things were different. The tension was no longer around strategy or execution. It was around pride. The coaching staff, however, didn't allow emotions to take over completely. They pushed back, tried to bring balance, tried to keep their team focused. But even they knew the truth. There was no going back. SHEDEUR Sanders had crossed a line. The game had transformed. What was once a matchup became a statement waiting to be made. Before we move on, take a second to drop a like and subscribe. That way, you'll stay up to date with every exclusive Lions update. And you'll even have a chance to win an official Detroit Lions jersey. Let's keep going. The media tried to analyze the situation, breaking down every word, trying to find hidden meaning, trying to justify the outburst. Some said SHEDEUR was trying to motivate his own team. Others claimed he was trying to get inside Detroit's head. But those explanations didn't match the tone of the video. This wasn't calculated trash talk. This felt personal, emotional, almost reckless. And in the world of professional football, recklessness can turn into disaster very quickly. Detroit players took it personally. Veterans who rarely speak publicly were overheard telling younger teammates that moments like this define careers. That disrespect like this should fuel every snap. One defensive leader reportedly said, he wanted attention. He's going to get all of it. Another player, known for staying quiet and staying away from headlines, simply said, he made a mistake. The strange part is that SHEDEUR seemed completely unbothered afterward. He doubled down in interviews, rephrasing the same disrespect with a calmer tone, which somehow made things worse. He smiled while talking. He shrugged off criticism. He acted like Detroit was nothing more than a minor obstacle. That arrogance didn't just anger the Lions. It offended them on a deep level. In Detroit, players fight for their city. The city fights for them. The energy is different, rougher, real. When someone mocks Detroit, they're not mocking a logo. They're mocking an entire identity built on struggle, perseverance, and survival. And by midweek, the Lions fan base was on fire. Not the celebratory kind, the volcanic kind. People called into radio shows shouting. Social media raged with every possible reaction. The game sold out instantly. Even neutral fans tuned in just to see what would happen. Inside the facility, tension tightened like a coiled spring. The Lions' defensive unit, normally loud and chaotic, went quiet. Too quiet. The kind of quiet that signals concentration sharpened into something dangerous. The quarterback room turned serious. Even the coaching assistants felt the atmosphere shifting. People close to the situation say that the Detroit staff added new defensive wrinkles to the game plan. Not because they needed them, but because the players demanded them. They wanted more chances to hit, more chances to pressure, more chances to make SHEDEUR feel every syllable he threw at them earlier in the week. The aggression wasn't emotional recklessness. It was structured, organized, weaponized. And all of this because of a few reckless words spoken into a camera. As the game approached, it felt less like a sporting event and more like a collision course. Analysts kept replaying the comments. Teammates of SHEDEUR tried to do damage control, insisting he was misunderstood. But nobody believed that. Not Detroit. Not the fans. Not the league. The tension rose with every passing hour, thickening into something you could almost touch. Players were warned to stay composed. Coaches reminded them that the best revenge is execution. But even they knew the truth. This game was going to be violent. Not illegal. Not dirty. But violent in spirit. Violent in intensity. Violent in the way only football can be when pride is at stake. Rumors spread that Lions veterans met privately without coaches. Not to discuss strategy. Not to talk defensive assignments. But to talk respect. To talk about answering the disrespect on the field. To talk about making sure that every snap carried meaning. If SHEDEUR thought his comments were just bravado, he underestimated Detroit entirely. By the final practice before the game, the Lions didn't even need motivation. They moved faster. They hit harder. They communicated less, but understood each other more. There was no need for speeches. No need for theatrics. The disrespect itself had done the job. SHEDEUR Sanders had awakened something inside Detroit that few teams ever managed to stir. And on game day, when those players walk onto the field, there will be no smiles, no greetings, no handshakes, only the cold, burning resolve of a team that waits patiently for the right moment to answer every single word he said. We bring you the latest Lions news every single day. So make sure you're subscribed, hit that like button, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a thing. And of course, drop a comment below with your thoughts on today's news. Your voice makes a difference for Lions Nation. See you in the next video.